Welcome to Board Gaming with Austin. Today I'm going to be doing a detailed rules video on the board game Wildstyle by Pandasaurs Games. It is a 2 to 5 player game. It can be played in 45 minutes and is for ages 14 and up. I don't see a reason or a need for this game to be only for ages 14 and up, but that's what it says. Alright, so I have the game set up for a 2-player game, and I'm going to be going over the detailed rules, specifically kind of, reiterating for 2 players because I played this as a 2-player game. I want to help you set it up and play it as a 2-player game. I do have a script here because I want to make sure that you guys are getting all the detailed information that you need. This is a video where you can follow along in the rule book. I kind of reword stuff and make it easier for you to understand, but I do follow along in the rule book. All right, let's begin. So with setup of the map, you're going to select one district board per player and randomly place it on the table. And you're doing this because you want to randomly choose a side. So you place it on the table like this, adjacent to each other. And you're going to want to reference the rulebook diagram if you're not doing a 2-player. There's a diagram on the right here. But this is how you set it up for a 2-player. You're going to rotate your district tiles until the trains are as close to possible as each other. Here's a train here and here. They're as close to possible as each other. Next, you're going to shuffle and draw 3 objective tiles. You're going to randomly choose the B side of 1 and the A side of 2. That's right here. These are what you'll use this game. And place them nearby so all can see, and then you want to return the rest to the box. Now, to set up for the players, you're going to sit equal distance apart. So that person's over here, I'm over here. And you're going to grab your player mat. We grabbed our 2 player mats, as well as 6 tags matching that color. The color is like the outside border, like the random background painting and stuff. So that's an orange one. This is blue. So you put 6 tags on your player board, and then all of your remaining tags are placed in a pool next to it. All right, so now you want to shuffle all 115 location cards, and you're going to leave out the black share pile cards. So that's these right here, dark blue. You're going to leave these out of the 115 pile deck. The 115 pile deck is going to be all of these cards with the backs like that and a location on this side. You're going to deal each player their starting hand of 3 cards. You're actually supposed to do that before creating the draw pile, but it's all right. And then you're going to place 2 of the 4 black share pile cards on each side of the play area. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then next, you're going to split the 115 card location deck. So this was all one deck to begin with. You're going to split it into 4 equal piles. Then you're going to place 2 random piles back in the box and place 1 of the remaining 2 in front of each player. So you got 4 piles. 2 are right here and 2 are in the box. These are the draw piles. All cards in the box or cards that are removed from play mid-round don't get played that round again. So the cards that you just put in the box aren't going to be played during the first round. And then if you discard your sets or discard cards during the game, not if you're playing it to the share piles. If you actually discard them from the game, they don't get played the rest of that round. The rules does say if you want easy mode, you can use one of these objectives, place on its A side, and then remove the Rail Supreme objective tile. I always play regular modes and show you regular modes, so this is a regular mode here. The name of the game is to get 3 cards sets of matching icons. Each card has an icon on it. This icon is the police station. If you get 3 cards that match on your player board, you get to take one of your lozenges called tags and place it on a free hex on the board matching that icon. As you're placing tags, you're focusing on your different objectives and the general point count that each icon is worth, located on the top left of the card, or it's actually located on your player aid as well. The player aid in the back of the rulebook tells you the point value of each icon as well as the cards. So the icons are different parts of a city. So like this icon is a police station. That's another police station. This icon is a railway. If you can't tell, I didn't shuffle from the last time I played. This icon is a bus station, a train station. Alrighty. The game is made up of 3 rounds. During each round, all players do stuff simultaneously, and there are 2 main rules that they call golden rules that govern the rounds, so everyone has a fair chance at taking their actions. Rule number 1, you may never have more than 3 cards in your hand at any given time. I'll explain more later, but playing a card straight from the share pile does not count as putting it in your hand. Later, I don't know if I actually do cover it, so I want to explain it now. Later, you're going to be playing cards from these share piles or from your hands straight to your sets here. If you play it from the share pile straight to your set, you actually don't put it in your hand, so you're not going over your 3 hand card limit. So if you have 3 cards in your hand and you're playing a card from the share pile straight to your set, you can do that. All right, rule number 2. So rule number 1 is you can never have more than 3 cards in your hand. Rule number 2 is you may not draw more than 1 card at a time from any pile. So if you're playing cards from the share piles straight to your sets here, or you're picking up cards to put into your hand, you may not draw more than 2. So you can't, or more than 1. So you can't do that to get all 3 if you don't have any cards, or 2, or you can only draw 1 at a time. So starting round. Before starting, give everyone time to look at their hand and gather their strategy. All right, so your strategy, you're going to be trying to gather a strategy by figuring out, all right, what's the objectives? What do I currently have on the board? So what am I going after next that can connect to those? Because you want to create clusters. Clusters are usually better in this game, get you more points. And then everyone just figures out a way to count down 3, 2, 1. Let's start the game. There are 5 actions that you can take, and you can take as many actions, or you can take these actions as many times as you're able. You can, first off, you can draw a card. I'll go into each of these in depth in a little. You can, secondly, add to a set. You can, third, share a card. Fourth, complete a set. Fifth, rush a set. And those are the 5 different actions that each player, a 2-player game, both the players, are doing the entire round. And you're doing that over and over again. And I forgot to put these little cop tokens out, but I want to get those out there for when I get to explaining that. All right, so drawing a card. Action 1 is drawing a card. If you have fewer than 3 cards, you may draw a card from the top of any draw pile around the map and add it to your hand. So like if I only have 1 card, I'd be able to draw one of that card, or this card, and put it into my hand and look at it. That can be a draw pile in front of either player or the top card of a share pile. Remember, don't draw more than 1 at a time though. Second action, add to a set. Your player board has spots for 2 sets. The little open spaces right here on your player board. If a spot is empty, you may start a new set there. If a set is currently there, you have 2 options. You can complete the set by adding to it until it reaches 3 matching icons, or take the step, rush a set, which I'll explain later. So you add to a set, or you can start a set. You add to a set or start a set by playing a card from your hand or from the top card of any share pile. That's how you add to a set. Now, third action is share a card. If you need to free up cards from your hand that you don't want, like right here, I don't want the police officer because I'm starting a train track now. So then I don't want this. I can play it to one of the share piles on the table, face up. You want to watch out that you're not giving cards to other players to complete their sets, though. So right now, these are all empty. So I'm going to get to those rules on how you place these. But right now, I can place this here. I want to make sure that they aren't working on police officer locations, police station locations, before I put this down, because they could grab it instantly and complete a set with it. There are 2 rules to placing on share piles, though. 1, if it's empty, you can place any card on it, like I just explained. That can get placed on it face up. 2, if there's a card on that pile, then you must place a card on top of that that is either a matching color or a matching icon. So this would be a matching color, a yellow on top of a yellow. You can do that. Most of the time, what I realized is it ends up being a situation like this, where people see a bus station down there and they go, oh, I have a bus station I don't want. Oh, I have a bus station I don't want. And then that does create a situation where if someone needs a bus station hex, then they just got all their bus stations in a row. They would pull one at a time and make sure if no one else needs a bus station, they're doing this fast, and complete their location. Action 4 is complete a set. Once one of your sets is complete with 3 matching icons, like these 3 bus stations here, you take a tag and place it on an available hex on the board with the matching icon. So you grab this and then we'll place it on this bus station. Remember, there's only 2 bus stations, once per hex, or once per district. Unless it's a train station, all empty hexes are available. Train stations can have multiple tags on them, though, so that's why even if there's a tag there, the other players can still place their tags on it as well. But all other hexes can only have 1 tag on it. But regardless of the hex it is, whether it's one of these tags, hexes, or a train station, you may never have more than 1 of your tags on the same hex. So you can't put, even though train stations can take more than 1 tag, you can't put multiple tags of yours on it. After completing a set and tagging the hex, like they just did, you must discard that complete set from your player board from the game. So this is where it comes to discarding it. You get rid of those train stations. They don't get played again that round. They can't be used for the rest of the round. If you have placed all the tags on your player board, you are done for that round. In a 2-player game, this triggers end round. So the tags that are on your player board are separate than your pool of tags. When you go through your round tags, which are the tags that are on your player board, then it triggers end round for a 2-player game. And I get to that at the end of these instructions. But action 5 is rush a set. If you have a set on your player board you're struggling to finish, like I can't get this 3rd railroad, you may then play that set following all the rules from the complete a set action 4 that I just explained. And then you must grab a cop car token. So you complete this by tagging that location, discarding the cards from play, and then you would get a cop car and you would put it on your player board. The cop car token only affects you when scoring final points at the very end of all 3 rounds. All cop cars you receive stay on your player board until end of round. End of all rounds. Sorry, they accumulate for each round. For each cop car during final scoring, you must remove 1 tag from a district of your choice. So right now I have 1 cop car. If I only had this 1 tag on here, which obviously would not be likely, but I would have to remove this tag to get rid of this cop car. But I'll explain that more in the final points. So end of round. End of round is triggered if all draw piles, these 2 draw piles in a 2-player game, are empty, or only 1 player has tags remaining. So if this person runs out of tags, it triggers end of round. Now, this is what happens during end round. If one of these happens, the remaining players are allowed to continue their all actions, until they have completed all existing sets that they already started. They may not create new sets on their player board. Following the hand limit rules, If the remaining players have run out of their tags, have completed all the sets they have been working on, or they can't take any more actions, the round is over. So you're going to get in a situation where, you already started one set here, a police officer. In a situation like this, if you can keep drawing cards from the share pile over here and you don't have 3 cards in your hand already, then you can do that. Play it straight. Well, actually, in that situation, you just play it straight to your pile. It's not playing it into your hand like I explained earlier. So you play it straight to your pile. But you might get in a situation where you have 3 cards in your hand and they can't be played to any of the share piles and they can't be played on your board. That's, you no longer have a legal action to make, is what the instructions say. So it's the end of the round. Or you might, by completing, this phase, this set over here, you might empty out of your tags here, and then it's the end of the round as well because you no longer have tags either. All right. Tags left over from each round carry over to the next, like I said earlier. Starting a new round. To start a new round, you're going to give each player 6 more tags. The tags that are existing on their board stay there. So if this person ended with 2 tags, you're going to add 6 more tags to their existing tags. If they have no tags, you give them 6 more tags. They add 6 tags, and then you're going to gather all cards in and out of play and in the box. So you're going to gather the cards from our hands, the cards from the draw piles, the cards from the share piles, the discarded cards, and the cards in the box. Then you're going to reset up the board with the cards like you did in setup at the very beginning of the game, where each player gets 3 cards. You're going to create 2 new draw piles. You're going to split the deck into 4 piles and then do 2 draw piles and put 2 in the box. And then this, I just really want to quickly go over the instructions and explain how some of these. So I want to go over the final point count, the game end, and then I want to explain what the directions actually don't do a good job of explaining, which is calculating points for objectives and then calculating points for the regular point count as well. So for final score count, you want to remove, here, I'm going to throw random tags on here to give you an example. An objective is straight line. So the objectives down here are under their nose, which says you get 1 point for every hex tagged touching a police station. This is straight shooter, which says it's a straight shot of 5 hexes filled. And this says 3 of a kind, so 3 of the same type in a cluster. So here, I'll do this as an example. All right, so first you want to start with the very first step, which is remove 1 tag per cop car. So let's say I had these clusters out on the board. You remove 1 tag per cop car. I had 1 cop car over here. So you get rid of that cop car and remove 1 tag of your choice. So I chose to choose this one over here. And I get rid of that, put it back to my supply. Then you want to go to remove all solo tags. Solo tags are tags that are not directly connected to a cluster, adjacent to a piece connecting to a cluster. So in a cluster is 2 or more tags that are adjacent to each other. So if it was like this, that's a cluster. Right now, that is 1 big cluster. There is no solo tiles for me. There is 1 solo tile for that player. So they would remove this tag right there. All right, then you move on to scoring your objectives. So scoring your objectives is step 3. Step 4 is scoring your tags. The game doesn't explain that you actually do both, and both can affect the same pieces. So let me explain. Right here, it says, under their nose, the objective is you get 1 point for every hex touching a police station. So you look at a police station, I have 1 police station here. The hexes touching that I've tagged are 2. So I get 2 points. Let's calculate this on a calculator. 2 points. Now, the next objective is straight shooter. For every 5 in a row, you get 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This objective is separate than the first objective. You can still count the police station and this in the 5-line row. But what you couldn't do is count, like let's say I had 8 here. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You couldn't count 5 from this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5 from this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because these two would be counted in both objectives for the 5 in a row, and you can't do that. So for one objective, only one. You can score the same objective multiple times as long as you have different hexes counting toward that objective. So like this one, if I had another police station that used these same hexes, that's fine because it's another police station that's counting these next to it. Whereas I can only count these hexes for this police station once. So 3 of a kind. So then I would count that. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's plus 6 points. And then I've got what says 3 of a kind. So for every 3 of a kind in the same cluster, you get 4 points. So right here, I have a park, 2 parks, 3 parks in the same cluster. So that is 4 points. Again, this same piece was counted for the straight line, and now it's being counted for the 3 of a kind, and that's all right. You can do that. And then that's all the objectives. So now you move on to the scoring your tags. Every single tag is going to have a point value. It's actually on top of the card. It's on your player aid, and it's on the back of the rule book. But let's go to the player aid. So on the right side here, it says every train station and railroad is worth 1 point. So then it helps if you take them off the board as you're counting them. 1 rail, 2 rail, 3 rail. So that's plus 3 points. Now, every house, shopping center, and city, town building is worth 2 points. So take them off again. I don't have any of those. Nope, I do have 1 shopping center. So it's plus 2 points. Then every factory and park is worth 3 points. So I have 3 parks here. That's worth 9 points. Then a police station is worth 4 points because it's very risky. So you take that off and count that as 4 points. So I now counted that cop for 2 objectives and for its final point value of 4 points for a total score of 30 points in this situation. All right. Well, other than that, the rule book shows you how to count each cluster objective and all the objectives on the back of the board. The player aid here is actually really helpful, so I definitely recommend having that. And it shows you all the actions, and it shows you your sets, notes, and scoring points. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys go out and get this game and you enjoy it. Thank you.